Have you ever seen someone running as fast as they can but never seem to get anywhere meaningful? They're exhausted, they're doing everything right in terms of effort, but at the end of the day, they're still lost. That's the core lesson I want to share today. Speed without direction is just motion, not progress. In life, in business, and in personal growth, there's a temptation to focus purely on moving fast. We measure success by how quickly we achieve milestones, how many tasks we check off, or how many hours we put into work. But here's the critical question: are we moving towards something that actually matters? Or are we simply moving for the sake of moving? Direction gives meaning to speed. Without it, effort becomes wasted energy. Imagine rowing a boat at full force, but your boat is pointed toward a waterfall. All your strength, all your energy, all your urgency will lead to disaster. On the other hand, even if you row slowly, as long as your boat is heading toward a safe harbor, you will arrive where you need to be. Direction sets the course. Speed only determines how fast you'll get there. Many of us fall into the trap of mistaking activity for progress. We fill our days with tasks, busy ourselves with work, and celebrate motion. But if those tasks are not aligned with a larger purpose, they don't move us forward, they move us in circles. We confuse being busy with being effective, and eventually we feel exhausted, frustrated, and empty. Clarity of direction requires reflection. It requires asking yourself, where am I going? Why am I going there? What is the ultimate goal I'm trying to achieve? Once you know the answer, your actions, decisions, and energy become more focused. You'll notice that you might actually slow down at times, but paradoxically, your progress will be faster because you're no longer wasting energy in the wrong direction. Finally, direction also brings resilience. When challenges arise, and they always will, if you know where you are heading, you can adapt, pivot, and keep moving forward. Speed without direction collapses at the first obstacle. Purpose-driven direction carries you through. It allows you to prioritize what matters most, ignore distractions, and maintain consistency over time. So speed is seductive. It makes us feel productive. But without direction, speed is meaningless. If you take away one lesson today, let it be this: focus first on where you are going. Then let your speed be the servant of your direction, not the master of your life. 5 keynotes of the speech: speed without direction leads to wasted effort and energy. Clear direction gives meaning to our actions and ensures progress. Busy activity does not equal effective progress. Focus on purposeful action. Reflection and clarity of purpose are essential before pursuing speed. Direction creates resilience, focus, and long-term sustainable success. We live in a world obsessed with speed. From the moment we wake up, we are encouraged to move faster, do more, and achieve quickly. Productivity is glorified, efficiency is celebrated, and being busy is often mistaken for being successful. Yet, amidst this rush, there is a silent, almost invisible danger: moving fast without knowing where you are going. Speed without direction is not progress, it is wasted effort, and it often leaves us more exhausted and frustrated than when we started. Consider the metaphor of a car. You could drive at 100 miles per hour, yet if your GPS is set incorrectly, you could end up hundreds of miles away from your intended destination. The energy, fuel, and attention you put into driving fast is wasted if it doesn't take you where you want to go. The same principle applies to life. Many people fill their days with activity, pushing themselves to do more, stay ahead, or outpace others. But without a clear understanding of what matters most, all that motion becomes meaningless. They may be moving fast, but they are moving in the wrong direction, and eventually the realization hits that their speed did not translate into meaningful progress. This phenomenon is especially common in professional settings. Employees work long hours, entrepreneurs chase every opportunity, and students overload themselves with tasks, believing that doing more will bring them closer to success. They check off item after item on their to-do lists, yet at the end of the week, the most important goals remain untouched. This happens not because they are lazy or incompetent, but because they are not intentional about their direction. When you don't have clarity about the destination, speed becomes a false measure of accomplishment. You may feel busy, but in reality, your efforts are scattered and your energy is drained without delivering meaningful results. Even on a personal level, speed without direction can lead to a sense of emptiness. Imagine someone who wakes up early every day, rushes through workouts, hurries to work, and squeezes in tasks after hours, all in pursuit of success, as defined by societal standards. On paper, they're moving fast, they are productive, disciplined, and hardworking, but if their efforts are not aligned with their true values or long-term goals, their fast-paced lifestyle is essentially wasted energy. Over time, they may feel a growing sense of frustration, anxiety, or burnout because the speed at which they are moving cannot substitute for meaningful progress towards something they truly care about. History and life provide countless examples of speed without direction. Think of businesses that scale quickly without a clear vision of their purpose, only to collapse under their own momentum. Consider athletes who train intensely but lack a strategy or technique, often burning out or failing to achieve their peak potential. Even in everyday life, we see people rushing through their days, multitasking, and trying to do everything at once, only to discover that none of it brings them closer to what actually matters. All of this is energy wasted, not because of a lack of effort, but because speed was pursued without clarity. The problem is not the desire to move fast. It is the assumption that speed alone is valuable. Speed is a tool, not a goal. It can amplify progress, but only if it is paired with purpose and direction. Without direction, speed magnifies mistakes, increases stress, and accelerates the depletion of energy. One can work tirelessly for years and feel exhausted, only to realize that the energy spent did not lead to meaningful outcomes. This is why prioritizing direction over speed is essential. Understanding this requires a shift in mindset. Instead of asking, how fast can I get this done? The question should be, am I moving toward the right goal? Before investing energy, it's critical to define what matters most and identify the path that leads there. Once direction is clear, speed becomes effective. Every effort, every hour, and every decision contributes to real progress. But without it, no matter how fast you go, your energy becomes scattered, your time is wasted, and your potential is unfulfilled. Ultimately, speed without direction is like running on a treadmill at maximum pace. You are moving, your heart is racing, your muscles are working hard, yet your location remains unchanged. True progress comes not from relentless motion, but from purposeful motion. Energy, effort, and speed are valuable, but only when they are directed towards something meaningful. Otherwise, the faster you go, the more exhausted you feel, and the further you are from where you actually want to be. Direction is the compass that transforms random motion into purposeful progress. Without it, effort is like throwing darts blindfolded, hoping to hit the target. With direction, every action, every decision, and every effort is aligned, creating momentum that moves us closer to our intended destination. The difference between moving aimlessly and moving with clarity is not just noticeable, it is transformative. Clear direction turns ordinary activity into meaningful accomplishment. When we have a clear sense of where we are going, our actions begin to resonate with purpose. Every choice becomes intentional rather than reactive. Imagine walking in a dense forest without a map. You may move quickly, navigating around obstacles, taking multiple paths, and trying different routes. But without a clear destination, you might end up in the same place you started, or worse, lost entirely. Now imagine having a map and a compass. Suddenly, each step you take has a reason. Even when the terrain is challenging, you are confident that every forward motion brings you closer to where you want to be. This is the power of direction. It turns effort into progress and motion into achievement. Clear direction also provides a framework for prioritization. Life is full of choices, distractions, and opportunities, many of which may seem urgent but are not important. When your direction is defined, you can filter these distractions with ease. You no longer waste time on activities that do not align with your ultimate goals. Instead, you focus your energy on what truly matters. In this way, direction acts as a lens, sharpening your focus, eliminating noise, and guiding your decisions. Tasks that once felt overwhelming or random suddenly fit into a coherent plan, and the energy you invest produces results that matter. Moreover, clear direction fosters motivation and persistence. When you know where you are going, setbacks and obstacles are no longer demoralizing. Challenges become temporary detours rather than dead ends because you understand that each step, no matter how small, is part of a larger trajectory. People with a defined direction are able to maintain focus over the long term, even when immediate results are not apparent. Their actions are guided by a vision, not by the fleeting highs and lows of day-to-day activity. In essence, direction provides a reason to keep moving, even when speed alone cannot sustain momentum. Another crucial aspect of direction is that it enables alignment. In personal life, career, or business, clear direction ensures that your resources, your time, and even your relationships are working in harmony toward a common purpose. Without it, efforts can conflict, energy can be diluted, and progress can stall. When direction is established, it serves as a unifying force. Every decision becomes a thread in a larger tapestry, and every action strengthens the coherence of your path. This alignment amplifies the impact of your work and makes progress more measurable and satisfying. Direction also reduces the psychological strain of uncertainty. One of the greatest sources of stress and frustration is not knowing whether your efforts are meaningful or effective. When you lack direction, doubt creeps in. Am I doing the right thing? Am I moving forward or just spinning my wheels? Clear direction eliminates much of this uncertainty. It provides a reference point for measuring progress and a framework for evaluating choices. When you know where you are headed, you can course correct efficiently rather than constantly questioning the value of your actions. Finally, having a clear direction encourages intentional growth. It allows you to focus on developing the skills, habits, and mindset necessary to reach your destination. Speed alone cannot compensate for lack of preparation or focus. Only deliberate, purpose-driven action leads to sustainable progress. Direction gives structure to learning and improvement, ensuring that every effort is not just movement, but an investment in a meaningful trajectory. When your actions are aligned with a defined goal, even small steps accumulate into significant results over time, creating a momentum that speed alone could never achieve. In the absence of direction, even the most energetic individual risks achieving very little. Effort becomes scattered, time is lost, and potential remains untapped. But with direction, every action has a reason, every decision becomes a building block, and even challenges and delays contribute to forward motion. Clear direction is the engine that converts energy into progress, chaos into clarity, and action into achievement. It ensures that our lives, our careers, and our efforts are not just busy, but meaningful, focused, and impactful. In today's fast-paced world, there is a common misconception that being busy is the same as making progress. We often equate long hours, constant activity, and a packed schedule with achievement and success. Yet, business is not a measure of effectiveness. You can be busy all day, moving from one task to another, checking items off your to-do list, and yet find yourself no closer to your real goals than when you started. Without intentionality, Activity is just motion. It does not necessarily lead to results. Understanding this distinction is critical for anyone who wants to create meaningful outcomes in their personal or professional life. Being busy often gives a false sense of accomplishment. It feels productive to fill every moment with action, to respond to every email, attend every meeting, and constantly stay in motion. However, when activity is not tied to a clearly defined purpose or objective, it becomes a distraction from the things that truly matter. Imagine running on a treadmill at maximum speed. You are exerting yourself, your muscles are engaged, and your heart is racing, but your location does not change. Similarly, being busy without focus expends energy without creating tangible progress, leaving you exhausted and frustrated. Purposeful action, on the other hand, transforms effort into results. It begins with clarity about what is important and what will move you closer to your goals. Purposeful action is not about doing more. It is about doing the right things. It involves prioritizing tasks that align with your long-term vision and contribute directly to your objectives. When every action has a clear reason, effort is amplified because energy is concentrated on what truly counts. This creates momentum and generates outcomes that business alone cannot achieve. Another aspect of purposeful action is intentional prioritization. Life constantly presents opportunities, distractions, and demands that compete for our attention. Without focus, it is easy to become caught in a cycle of reactive business, responding to whatever seems urgent rather than what is important. Purposeful action requires discernment, the ability to distinguish between what demands attention and what deserves attention. It is a commitment to invest time and energy in activities that directly contribute to meaningful results, rather than scattering effort across trivial or unaligned tasks. Moreover, business often undermines creativity and strategic thinking. When we fill our days with endless activity, we rarely pause to reflect, evaluate, or consider the bigger picture. This reactive mode prevents us from identifying opportunities for improvement, innovation, or smarter approaches. Purposeful action, in contrast, incorporates deliberate planning and reflection. It allows us to think critically about the outcomes we want to achieve, to identify the most efficient path, and to adjust our actions accordingly. By focusing on purpose rather than mere motion, we enhance both the quality and the impact of our efforts. The danger of equating business with progress is not just inefficiency, it also affects motivation and morale. Constant activity without visible results can lead to frustration, burnout, and a sense of futility. Individuals may feel as though they are working tirelessly yet achieving little, causing stress and diminishing confidence. Purposeful action mitigates this problem because it aligns effort with outcomes. When you know that your actions are meaningful and directly contributing to your goals, the work becomes energizing rather than draining. Progress is tangible, which reinforces motivation and sustains commitment over time. Effective progress also relies on learning to say no. Purposeful action requires the discipline to decline tasks, opportunities, or distractions that do not serve your objectives. Many people fall into the trap of thinking that saying yes to everything is a sign of productivity, but this often results in a dilution of effort and a lack of focus. By choosing carefully where to direct time and energy, purposeful action ensures that each step is a deliberate move toward your goals, rather than a reaction to external demands or pressures. Ultimately, busy activity without purpose is a form of wasted effort. It creates the illusion of movement while obscuring true progress. Purposeful action, by contrast, transforms effort into tangible results, aligns energy with priorities, and fosters long-term achievement. By focusing on what matters most, concentrating effort on meaningful tasks, and avoiding distractions that do not serve your objectives, you convert motion into impact. The difference between being busy and being effective lies in intentionality, in knowing why you are doing what you are doing, and ensuring that every action has a clear and meaningful purpose. Before we rush forward with speed and intensity, there is a crucial step that is often overlooked: reflection. Reflection is the act of pausing to assess where you are, what you want, and why you are taking the actions you are about to take. In a society that constantly rewards motion and celebrates doing, stopping to think can feel counterintuitive. Yet reflection is not a sign of weakness or procrastination. It is the foundation for meaningful progress. Without it, speed can become a dangerous habit, propelling us rapidly toward outcomes that may not serve us, or even away from the goals we truly care about. Clarity of purpose goes hand in hand with reflection. It is not enough to simply ask yourself what you are doing. You must also understand why you are doing it and what the ultimate objective is. Purpose is the lens through which all decisions gain meaning. It distinguishes between tasks that contribute to long-term goals and those that are merely distractions. When purpose is unclear, even our fastest actions risk being misdirected. We may expend energy, effort, and time, yet find ourselves further from where we actually want to be. Reflection allows us to define our purpose, examine our priorities, and align our actions with outcomes that matter. The process of reflection often begins with asking difficult questions. What is truly important to me? What impact do I want to make? Where do I want to be in a year, 5 years, or 10 years? These questions require honesty and self-awareness, because clarity of purpose cannot be imposed externally, it must come from within. Once these questions are answered, you gain a map, a sense of direction that informs every decision. Speed then becomes a tool, not a substitute for thought, because you are no longer moving blindly, you are moving with intention. Reflection also allows us to identify patterns and evaluate past actions. By examining what has worked and what has not, we gain insight into our strengths, weaknesses, and tendencies. This self-awareness is crucial because it prevents repeated mistakes and guides more efficient and effective decision-making. Without reflection, speed can amplify errors. Rushing forward without understanding the lessons of the past often results in wasted energy, frustration, and setbacks. Reflection ensures that when we accelerate, it is with knowledge and wisdom rather than impulsive haste. Moreover, clarity of purpose provides a framework for prioritization. Life and work are filled with countless demands, opportunities, and distractions. Without a clear understanding of what matters most, it is easy to be pulled in multiple directions simultaneously. Reflection allows us to identify the activities, projects, and commitments that align with our purpose. When speed is applied to these high priority areas, it becomes a force multiplier. Every effort contributes meaningfully to progress, and every decision becomes easier because it is guided by a clear sense of direction. Another benefit of reflection and purpose is the reduction of stress and uncertainty. When we act without thinking, we often second-guess ourselves, question our choices, and feel overwhelmed by the sheer volume of tasks. Taking the time to reflect and define our purpose provides a sense of control. It creates a mental roadmap that guides decision-making and reduces the anxiety associated with moving too quickly. Speed, when combined with clarity, is energizing rather than exhausting. It allows us to act decisively with confidence that our efforts are not wasted. Reflection also strengthens resilience. Life is unpredictable and obstacles are inevitable. When purpose is clear, we can navigate setbacks without losing momentum or direction. Speed without purpose may lead to hasty decisions that compound problems, whereas speed guided by reflection and clarity allows us to pivot, adjust, and continue moving toward meaningful goals. Reflection provides perspective, reminding us of the bigger picture and the ultimate objectives we are pursuing, even when immediate circumstances are challenging. Finally, clarity of purpose ensures that our energy and speed are sustainable. It prevents burnout by focusing effort on what truly matters and eliminating wasted motion. It transforms business into productivity and stress into meaningful engagement. By reflecting on our goals, priorities, and values, we create a foundation upon which fast, decisive action can thrive. Speed becomes a vehicle for achievement rather than a source of confusion or exhaustion, because every movement is intentional and aligned with long-term objectives. Direction is more than just a plan or a goal. It is a stabilizing force that shapes how we respond to challenges, manage distractions, and sustain effort over time. When we have a clear sense of direction, we are better equipped to navigate uncertainty, maintain focus, and pursue success in a way that is both sustainable and meaningful. Without direction, even the most talented or hardworking individuals can struggle because speed and energy alone are insufficient for long-term achievement. Direction provides the structure and context that transforms effort into lasting results. Resilience is one of the most powerful benefits of having direction. Life is unpredictable. Obstacles, setbacks, and failures are inevitable. When we move fast without a clear path, these challenges can derail us, leaving us frustrated, discouraged, or even defeated. Direction, however, acts as an anchor. It reminds us of our purpose and guides our response to adversity. When we know where we are headed, setbacks become temporary detours rather than insurmountable barriers. Challenges are no longer threats to our progress, but opportunities to learn, adapt, and strengthen our approach. This mindset allows us to maintain momentum even under pressure, because our energy is focused on overcoming obstacles rather than questioning the value of our efforts. Direction also sharpens focus. In a world filled with constant distractions, having a defined path helps us concentrate on what truly matters. It provides a framework for making decisions, prioritizing tasks, and managing time efficiently. Without direction, our attention is scattered, and we risk wasting energy on activities that do not contribute to meaningful progress. When direction is clear, every action can be evaluated against its alignment with long-term goals. This focus not only enhances productivity, but also ensures that our efforts are coherent and cumulative, building toward outcomes that are significant and enduring. Long-term sustainable success is another outcome of direction. Speed alone may produce short-term results, but it cannot guarantee lasting achievement. Many people experience bursts of progress only to plateau or regress because their actions were not guided by a consistent vision. Direction ensures that every step is part of a larger trajectory, creating momentum that compounds over time. By aligning actions with purpose, we invest in outcomes that continue to grow and yield benefits long after the initial effort. This sustainable approach reduces the risk of burnout, minimizes wasted effort, and enables continuous growth. Direction also provides clarity in decision-making. When faced with multiple options, opportunities, or paths, it is easy to become overwhelmed. A well-defined sense of direction acts as a filter, allowing us to evaluate choices based on whether they move us closer to our intended destination. This clarity reduces hesitation and second-guessing, enabling faster and more confident action. Decisions that might otherwise drain energy or create doubt are streamlined because we have a consistent reference point for what matters most. This decisiveness further reinforces resilience and focus, creating a virtuous cycle of purposeful action. Additionally, direction strengthens commitment. Knowing where you are going increases accountability and perseverance. When progress is slow or obstacles arise, the clarity of direction reminds us why we started and why continued effort is worthwhile. This internal motivation is far more powerful than external pressure or fleeting incentives. It sustains engagement over the long term, allowing us to maintain energy, consistency, and quality in our efforts. In essence, direction transforms raw effort into disciplined, Persistent action that produces meaningful outcomes. Finally, direction integrates all aspects of growth, personal, professional, and strategic, into a unified path. It ensures that learning, skill development, and experience are not random or disconnected, but are deliberately aligned with long-term objectives. This integration creates synergy where each step, each lesson, and each decision reinforces the next. The result is not just success, but resilient, focused, and sustainable success that endures beyond temporary achievements or short-term gains. When we combine direction with energy, effort, and focus, we create a powerful engine for growth. Speed accelerates progress, but direction ensures that acceleration is meaningful. It transforms challenges into opportunities, distractions into focus, and short-term actions into long-term success. By prioritizing direction over haste, we develop resilience, maintain clarity, and achieve outcomes that are not only effective but enduring, allowing us to build a life and a career that are both purposeful and sustainable. In the end, the lesson is clear: moving fast may feel productive, but without direction, speed alone cannot bring meaningful results. Wasting energy on motion that lacks purpose leads to frustration, burnout, and unfulfilled potential. By first establishing clarity of direction, we ensure that every effort, every decision, and every action moves us closer to what truly matters. Purpose transforms busy activity into effective progress. Reflection is that our speed is guided by intention, and clear priorities allow us to focus on what is essential. Direction also builds resilience, helping us navigate obstacles and challenges while maintaining consistent effort toward our goals. When we embrace direction over haste, we align our energy, time, and attention with our long-term objectives. Speed becomes a tool to amplify progress, not a substitute for planning or understanding. The combination of clear purpose, focused action, reflection, and strategic direction enables sustainable success, both in life and in work. It allows us to invest our energy wisely, respond to challenges effectively, and maintain momentum even when the path is difficult. So, as you move forward in your personal and professional journey, remember this: it is not how fast you go that matters most, but whether you are heading in the right direction. Focus on clarity, prioritize what is meaningful, and let every action serve your purpose. When direction guides speed, every step you take carries intention, every effort produces impact, and every goal becomes achievable. Success is not about rushing. It is about moving forward with certainty, focus, and purpose.